Good evening. Apologies, I can't be with you in person, but as promised, I'm going to try and answer some of your questions that have been sent across to me. I think there's about 8, so I'm going to crack straight on with those. Number 1, congratulations on being appointed Transport Commissioner in the last month. Thank you very much. Can you tell us your top 3 priorities in this expanded role? Well, first off, the role itself. I'm an advisor to the Mayor, as I was before, with a much expanded brief. So now trams, trains, and obviously the active travel stuff, everything people need to not have to drive effectively. I'm going to be the person who is across all of the details now on these modes to give the Mayor considered advice on how best to deliver the B network, and then he will take the decisions that he chooses. I coordinate active travel on his behalf, so everything from discussions with stakeholders, people such as yourselves, and from councillors to government. We've now set up his weekly B network delivery board so he can stay abreast of everything in literally real time. It's been a frantic few weeks, to say the least, putting things in place. Huge learning curve for me personally, and I'm choosing to tackle this very complex world in a really simplistic way. I simply start with the question, my overriding question: what would I need from this network? What do I need it to be for me to choose it over driving? Because ultimately that's what this mission is, and if it doesn't make me change, then it doesn't work. So it's super complex and super simple at the same time. As for the top 3 priorities, well, I'll give you 4. Step 1 for me is to define what this network must be to ensure that it's successful, and success being defined as enabling people to choose it over driving. The second priority is to ensure the definition of what that actually is and what it consists of is shared by all the districts. Step 3, clarify and agree the priority actions to deliver the network, because it's not going to be easy. And step 4, to bring all that together to get long-term government support to actually get it done, which is essentially also their policies as well. So that's my work package, if you like, for the next 4 months. A lot of big scary stuff, and also incredibly exciting, setting up for a genuine recovery, a post-COVID world that is sustainable going forward, both ecologically and financially. Your second question, delivering an integrated transport system presumably needs a different structure to the one we currently have. What changes do you foresee? Well, by definition, this has to be cross-border, GM-wide, shared, coordinated, the whole mission. It's got to be collective. Now, Andy's been re-elected. The challenges involved with delivering a successful network are now being addressed. We couldn't do it till he was in post. And that's why he asked me to set up the B Network Board, which at the moment consists of myself, the Mayor, and 2 leaders, with obviously officers advising us very closely. So there's really good political oversight of the mission, which is all very new for the city region. To meet government's needs and deliver fast enough to meet climate commitments and lots of commitments in other GM strategies that depend on this network being successful, we're almost certainly going to require a different way of working. And just a few weeks in now, all I can tell you is those discussions have started. Your third question, when can we expect to see B Network branding on the streets, and what's your take on using it for the whole transport network as per the Mayor's manifesto pledge? Well, it was Andy's idea, to be clear, and I was slightly surprised by it, and I think it's a really good thing. The short answer on branding on the streets is very soon, in the next few months. Branding work is happening right now to ensure what we do for active travel, which got here first, meshes with other elements of the network, specifically buses as they come online. But active travel, wayfinding and bike hire is almost certainly going to be the first branding that appears. Watch this space. Make no mistake, active travel remains and is the very foundation of the bigger mission, because it has to be the first step out of the door. Otherwise, that first step will lead to the car and nothing after that matters. We haven't solved the branding hierarchy, we've only just started really. Now Andy has flatteringly adopted the B Network brand, but we're on it, and active travel is going to be a major stakeholder as that develops. Question 4. We know you and the team are stepping up pace in 2021, the year of delivery as you've dubbed it, but people feel walking and cycling schemes continue to take too long in their neighbourhoods. Meanwhile, roads get busier and more dangerous. What more could be done, and how can walk-around groups help speed things up? My role, as you know, is to coordinate and advise of ways around problems, but I cannot direct, nor should I. And TFGM can only implement or help implement the wishes of each individual council. So it's really boring and I'm being repetitive, but as the system is right now, local councillors are absolutely key to both speed and ambition. They are the ones that need to know how the public feel and what they want. They're also the ones that should get lots of visible credit for taking brave steps, because this isn't easy for them, and it's important to recognise that. For me, that should be your focus, getting that message to those people and helping those people. Help find solutions for them and keep it high on their agenda. Another thing that's likely to change in the next few months is the targeting of overall transport funding settlements from government. Walking, buses and bikes are the key modes to tackle transport emissions and climate change, to deliver their gear change and bus back better policies, which I have to tell you are sensational. So we have some very influential active travel allies in the highest places. Number 5, we're hearing the government may pull back from a London-style pavement parking ban and leave it to councils. Would you get behind a GM-wide ban on pavement parking? Greater Manchester can do this if it wants right now via traffic regulation orders. In fact, in the response to the government's consultation on this, we made it clear it is our priority to tackle the B network first. So the double buggy test for walking means pavements need to be clear of parked vehicles or it doesn't pass the test. So yes, I would get behind measures to get pavement parking under control. The only area I'll be really happy to compromise on is in the transition. As people have built their lives around how they have been allowed to use public space, understandably so, and they should be helped and given time to adjust. But to be clear, this is about sympathetic implementation, not dodging the problem. It's about making that change in a pragmatic way. Question 6. Road deaths, serious injuries and incidents continue to rise. What's your plan for how to work with the police and curb the dangerous behaviours that deter people from travelling actively in the first place? Suppressing demand. The Mayor's made a commitment to publish a road danger action plan, not a strategy, an action plan. And I've had some really positive meetings about this already. It isn't just about policing, which is part of the problem. No one organisation owns this plan, but the Mayor, via his B Network board, will pull this together. It's on the agenda quite literally now, and it's the single most important thing for active travel, and has frankly been my biggest failure in the last 3 years. And I intend to rectify that if I possibly can. We'll take it up at national level too, to push for meaningful consequences for dangerous and intimidating behaviour. Your penultimate question 7, you've been very clear there were strict quality controls. There are strict quality controls for B network schemes. Why are councils still installing inaccessible infrastructure that disregard both LTM 120, the government guidance, and B network design standards? Access control barriers are allowed in the government guidance as long as they leave a 1.5 metre gap. And again, to be clear, I sound like a politician. To be clear, I don't like chicane barriers and will recommend that they are not used. I prefer bollards. If any access control has to be used, so paths are accessible to all, and measures are just visually more appealing. We have agreed, everybody has agreed in the standards adopted by the Combined Authority that to not fund anything that doesn't meet ours and now government's standards, and that is within my gift as Commissioner. But I can't really refuse to fund things that meet the guidance, if only just. Now, I'm not happy with some infrastructure meeting the letter and not the spirit of the agreed guidance, and I will be writing to all of Greater Manchester's councils to remind them of the commitments that they made to doing this, and the risk really of future funding and reputation with the Department for Transport and the soon to be active Travel England for not adhering to LTN 120. So I'll just pull up your final question, number 8. Many communities and grassroots groups are willing to gather thoughts and develop plans for improving walking and cycling. How do we get councils to engage with communities to get these ideas into plans and then delivered? Essentially, gather numbers as you are, discuss with individual councillors, understand their problems and try to help them find solutions. Lobby them to take the views of residents forward, ask them to speak and get support from fellow councillors, essentially build consensus. The collective COVID experience and climate change, the landscape is changing really fast now. You and Greater Manchester were about 3 to 4 years ahead of the game on this, and as a consequence this region is more ready than most for the pressures that are coming from above to change at pace. This next mayoral term is going to be something of a roller coaster, I think, and not everybody likes roller coasters. That's it from me. I hope the rest of your meeting goes well. Watch this space. There's certainly going to be plenty of news coming forward. And thanks again for your passion and commitment. Thanks.